So welcome, Captain Purnendu. If people are able to hear us and see us, that should be fine. So thank you very much for joining us today. I just gave a brief intro about yourself, a stalwart from the maritime industry who is passionate about seafarers and has been taken initiative around various seafarers welfare and well-being issues, including your Naughtica and the recent one about the Marpool. So we will be discussing some of that today in our, and hopefully the seafarers will be better aware and about the initiatives been taken for betterment of them. So thank you once again. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I'm able to hear you and see you very well, Chirag. You can continue.
Perfect. So I'll not take much of your time. I know it's a very busy schedule, but I'll just put a couple of questions for you. That Captain, if you can also share something about the background of the concept of Naughtica. And I had last, I have attended that, and it was such a marvelous event, the kind of event that has been put place where thousands of cadets comes in from various maritime institutes across India. So can you please share some of the concept, the background history of Naughtica, and what was the inspiration behind it?
So I have a statement which I always make: once a cadet, always a cadet. So I'm still a cadet at heart. And it was in 2016-17 when I was traveling from up north with Captain Anupam. And we met a few college students on the way, nothing to do with Maritime College. They were engineering students, and they were also driving down in Himachal somewhere. And we asked them, where are you coming from? They said, sir, we had an inter-college festival. And we just looked at each other, me and Anupam, and we said, why don't we have an inter-college festival where institutes from all over India come? And Anupam had a very good answer. He says, we don't have it because we don't do it. And that was the birth of it. We said, let's do it. We took our bags. We visited about 30 odd colleges up north, south, east, west. And right from the first edition, we've had 4 editions now. Right from the first edition, we had a fantastic number of students who took part. Always more than 23, 24 colleges, students that came over from all over India. Of course, we extended a few things from our end. So the travel of all the students, the stay of all the students, the meals of all the students for the duration of Naughtica, 2 or 3 days, is always fully sponsored. The essence being that rather than belonging to one college, we belong to an industry. Whenever somebody asks me, what's your alma mater, I always tell them my alma mater is ships, my alma mater is my seniors, and my alma mater is the industry. So that was the birth of Naughtica. And then one thing led to the other. The DG Shipping came along to help us. A lot of shipping companies came along. P&I clubs from the UK, who happen to be my clients in other businesses, they came along. And now, 5 years later, 4 editions later, of course, we had to skip the one in during COVID. But 4 editions later, Naughtica is bigger, bolder, stronger. The one which you attended in Mumbai last year was, of course, one of the bigger events. Actually, all the events have been equally big. So yeah, that's Naughtica, and it's all the students. We are just merely putting it together, but it's the students who liven it up. It's the shipping companies, it's the associations, it's the clubs, it's all the other stakeholders who come forward. They seem to have recognized, for the lack of a better word, our passion for cadets and trainees. And I've always believed in that if you actually nurture the future generation, then and only then will you be able to be a strong maritime nation and should be rightfully called one. So that's Naughtica for you.
Absolutely. And I know that you very easily mentioned that we just put the things together. It takes a lot of efforts to put that kind of events together. So hats off to you and your team, Captain, for that. I'll just take a step around it that, these events are very essential. When I witnessed it from myself as well, I feel these are very, it fosters a lot of health and well-being thing among the seafarers, among the cadets, those who are attending. So can you just provide some examples of how these all events promote the teamwork on board ship, why these are necessary, how they learn all this, during this couple of days events when you have this, what are all the things that they can take away from these events when these cadets attend the Naughtica?
So nothing to take away from colleges. They do what they do, they teach what they teach, and some of them do a good job of it, I'm told. But essentially, when you go on a ship, you don't belong to one college. You could be from A, your second engineer could be from somebody else, somewhere else, your chief officer could be from somewhere else, your ratings could be from other college. So as much as we may take pride, if that is the word, I never use the word pride, but people do. As much as people may take pride in their college and where they come from, but once you're on board a ship, you're a team. And irrespective of which college you come from, it's time to get together, it's time to huddle up, it's time to learn from each other. And also, people very casually use words like leadership, teamwork, etc. But the real essence of that lies in work. Studying a PowerPoint presentation or looking at Purnendu Shorey talk about leadership is not going to teach you much about it. Never taught me, at least. Maybe I was one of the dumb ones. But we believe that when students do come together, when seniors, juniors come together, they learn from each other. Yes, seniors also learn from juniors, and I'm one example. But people have to understand that the essence of Naughtica is college ho gaya, it's the end of it. Let's go on ships. Let's form a team. Let's work and pick up good habits. And at the same time, Naughtica is a lot of fun. So whether you have singing, dancing, art, football, cricket, doesn't really matter. It was in the time of COVID that a lot of people started talking about well-being of seafarers on a larger platform. I remember, Chirag, when we started Naughtica, there was somebody who commented, so now you're going to make seafarers sing and dance on songs. And I was like, yes, we are. And so did I when I was a cadet. And during all my years when I was sailing, and nothing wrong in it. Of course, right now, it's taken a lot more passion. A lot of people doing things what we did at Naughtica. I can see Akshay has just joined. He's one of the ace drummers who's won, I think, more than 2 gold medals there. So Naughtica does bring around a lot of camaraderie. It brings around learning from each other. It also brings around the lightheartedness that seafarers need, especially because life at sea can get difficult.
Absolutely. I can't agree with you on that, because I think that's the essence of how you meet with people on board and different nationalities, different cultures, and you need to build up this sense of habit of coming together, doing the works together. But how will you do that if you don't have a, that habit of making friends on board and indulging in different activities on board? And I think this is a way to start that thinking process among the cadets before they join ships. So really, I think that's very worthwhil, and I think the cadets can take that on board, and they will really benefit and in enhancing their leadership skills as well as the teamwork that is very necessary on board. But I think that's also been talked about the classroom, typical classroom types, and the practical knowledge and experience what they can get during the Naughtica events. I feel that would you like to also share something about the challenges that they can face at sea, and how can some of these can actually help them to tackle them better and become a better human being overall? Even some of these things can also impact their personal lives at sea or at home even later.
They do. In fact, the most difficult challenge at sea, at least what I believe, is actually people. It is nothing else. If you talk about rough weather, if you talk about seasickness, if you talk about loneliness, if you talk about many other things which are normally spoken about seafarers, if you have the right team on board, if you have the right people with you, if you have people who are there to support each other, if you guys can, spend your time together. For example, when we were sailing, the smoke room used to be full. We used to all watch films there. We used to all meet there. Right now you go, it looks like a morgue. It looks like nobody's visited it for ages, because everybody's got their little phone and little laptops where they want to, get back and watch their Netflix programs. That's fine. But if you're talking about loneliness, if you're talking about well-being, if you're talking about, going back even home, because that switch from ship to shore is also something which a lot of people struggle with. Uh, these sort of avenues, this sort of discussions, these sort of events, which have now become globally more acceptable for seafarers. Once upon a time, seafaring was considered as though we are working in the armed forces and we are supposed to only have, a chin up and strict all the time. Mind you, people in the armed forces also know how to have their fun. They also know how to have leadership and other sources going on. So yes, to answer your question, Chirag, on a more serious note, it does have an impact. It does carry you and your virtues when you are at home, when you're on ship. And as I always keep coming back, if you have a good team on board, if you have somebody who's going to listen to you, if you have somebody you can talk to, most of your challenges at sea are taken care of.
That's very good to know about that. I think that's where I think our cadets who are listening to us today to take a note of it, and I think your people on board are your main friends and your assets, and this is where you need to invest your time when you go on board, rather than just looking in your mobiles and chatting with your friends or families in your rest hours time. Do take out some of your valuable time on board. Yeah.
Or making
and definitely
reels.
Or making reels, absolutely. So yes, those things are also necessary. Nobody is saying that you should completely stop those things, but do talk to your colleagues from different nationalities, learn about them, participate in different activities with them, and I'm sure that things will start changing a lot, because we hear stories from Siva, what is there in the initial, especially in the initial days when you go on board ship, you feel like you don't know anyone and you try to get social. There's an opportunity out there right now, as what Captain Purnendu has just mentioned to you all. Go and explore the things, go and meet your new colleagues on board and make a long-lasting friendships with them. I'll just take one more question here with you, Captain Purnendu, about the long-term impact. This is all the things which comes into with them, and when they join the ships and how they start their careers ahead in their life, with a very, very positive skills been developed with them because of the involvement in Naughtica and other such activities. But at the same time, if you look at the longer term impact, how these experiences gets translated into their careers at sea and then at shore as well, and overall, how does they contribute to the maritime industry overall?
So when we started Naughtica, as I said, it was considered to be a fun and dust program. Very soon did the industry realize that essentially we are picking up one of the most difficult chapters, if you like, of our industry, at least in India.
Yeah.
That is giving these kids a job. Now, a career. It is not something that people who have a job or people who don't have a job, how do we handle that? No, it was about coming forward and saying, we have a maritime talent pool. We were the first, I would say, who said, stop patronizing one or two colleges, give an open, what we call fair and equal opportunity to students from as many colleges. And yes, over the last 2 years or so, we have placed more than 350 students on ships, largely on ships, with one of the biggest shipping companies, not one, few of the biggest shipping companies, some of them also ashore, and it continues through our Marpol initiative. I think we've reached the 14th edition of it. So essentially, this fun dance in our own way of taking things forward, when we brought in the quiz contest, when we brought in the nautical contest, when we brought in the engineering, when we brought in the electrical, it also started showing the skill sets of the people who are taking part in Naughtica. The industry also supports us. The shipping companies also realize that there's another way of going and doing it. There is a more transparent way. And I don't know whether this is the right platform to pick it up, but the unscrupulous elements of our industry who have been fleecing and continue to fleece, mind you, the students at a very large number. They also got a sort of a message, if you like, that no, this is not always going to be the case. We have just taken this up with GP ratings, although GP ratings have always been a part of Naughtica for the last 4 years as well. We've never differentiated in ranks. As long as you're a pre-C cadet, you can take part in Naughtica. But GP ratings is a different ball game, and we are working towards that as well. So how this translates to careers, to answer your question? Well, I think numbers call it for itself. We have had some success. Thank you so much to all the shipping companies who have come forward and hopefully continue to support us. But yes, there's a lot more to be done. So it's all interlinked. It's not just one aspect what we want to connect here.
Correct. No, I think that's a very important initiative what you have taken about Marpool. I think that's because in ISWAN as well, we hear a number of seafarers stories from them about being duped by fraudulent crewing, not have a job. And I can see messages pouring in from the seafarers thanking you for all the things that you have been doing for them. And I think that really shows the level of confidence the seafarers have with Captain Purnendu right now. And he's a hero. He's like our, the main guy who can, whom people now right now have a bit of belief that yes, if Captain Purnendu is there, then we can try and we can get a job if they haven't got a job till now. Yeah, that's important. But at the same time, I think the challenges which I think the seafarers are facing at sea, and I think if you look back with all of these skills, when they enhance their skills around the team building, leadership, I think that also reflects the way they will be converting their careers at shore in the future. And how does that careers at shore, I just wanted to highlight on that from maybe if you would like to answer that, when you have completed your careers at sea and you're changing to the shore careers, how will these skills will still be helpful for them in transforming their roles in the shore job?
So think of yourself from a team of 20 to a team of 200. That's exactly what happens when you come ashore. You are on a ship with 20 people and you are seeing them day in and day out for a few months together. Come ashore, you're in an office with 200 people. Now, the same skill sets which you carry with you from the ship are not going to work cut, copy, paste, because the volume has suddenly enlarged. Your arena is much bigger. The people you report to are going to come from different backgrounds. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who have their own barriers, and when they sort of access other human beings. There are people who have branded generations. For example, this generation is good at technology, this generation is not good at technology, etc. It is my humble opinion and our opinion at Offing that if the essence of your basic principles is in place, if you know that, and I'm going to get very, very basic here, staying true to your job, not lying, not cheating, not shirking, not looking for shortcuts, whether it's at sea or whether it's at shore. When we use the word leadership, when we use the word mentoring, understanding that experience cannot be brought off a shelf. If there is a senior who's taken the time and the initiative to explain something to you, you should absorb it. And at the same time, you should be able to reflect it back to the people who look up to you. So when you come from 20 to 200, when you come from a smaller team to a much larger team, there has to be it may not be seamless. There could be a few kinks which may, sort of slow it down. But if you are, and I can tell you with experience, because it's happened with me. When I started sailing, I was less than 18 years of age, and I worked ashore before starting my own company. So I know that there are certain things that you need to pick up on the way. But the basics remain the same. The basics remain exactly the same.
Correct. I think these skills will keep carrying with you till the time we are doing we are in this world. So please develop your skills. Please learn how to involve with your colleagues, and I think that will help you throughout your careers ahead of you. and also in your personal life. So I think that's where.
And I'll tell you one more thing.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one more thing, Chirag.
Yes, please.
Something I want you to share with the young people since you're talking to them today. Stay lighthearted. You know, a lot of people take things too seriously nowadays. I see a lot of kids using and dropping words like depression without understanding the actual meaning of it. You know, it's a very scary disease. But they just drop it. You know, sir, I'm depressed. I finished my college 3 months ago. Well, if you finish your college 3 months ago, young man, young lady, you have not even started yet, right? Relax. So you need to take you need to take yourself a little lighter. Put in your efforts and don't look for shortcuts. Don't look for the easiest thing to buy or the easiest man to bribe. You know, with your hopes together. Keep your integrity intact. Don't always look for shortcuts. It's tough. I can understand, and we are trying. You are trying. A lot of us are trying to help these kids. But at the same time, they need to stay intact. They cannot fall apart. It's just not a part of your life. Sorry.
Correct. Absolutely agree. There are no shortcuts in the life. We all have come here because we have gone through most of the things. May not be exactly the same what you guys, some of you are going through, but we all have difficulties. We have all challenges we have faced in our life, and we are still facing in some way or other. But we should not be running away from those challenges. We should not try to bypass or make shortcuts in our life to make it easier, because those shortcuts will maybe today you will be helped by them, or maybe you will get a job on board, but tomorrow it can bring you a lot more difficulties, as you have heard stories from various seafarers duped, abandoned, stranded. We still keep hearing cases. Earlier this week we again had an abandonment case we heard. So please make sure that you follow the right practices, follow the right procedures, and be true to yourself. This is only going to impact you the most and your family members. So think about them as well before you take any of these decisions in your life. That what will happen to my family if I get anything of that nature? Do my family is well supported or not? Before taking all this, I think, decisions in your life. I think a lot of messages have come from seafarers who are attending this session today, Captain Purnendu, thanking you and that they have got a job and everything, and they are asking you to please start the placement for the deck cadets again. Any comments you want to add? Anything on that?
If it was left to me, I would have a placement drive every day. But the problem is not the problem. The reality is that we have to have the companies. It's an annual intake that students are taken. We started not knowing that if any company would come. Now we've done 14 drives. We've also got people who've gone ashore, people who've been settled in Dubai, people who've settled in Singapore, who could not sail for various reasons. So we are continuing. I'm still a little agitated with myself that I've not been able to break ground with getting a GP rating open examination. But we are trying. I always knew it was going to be the most difficult one. But well, I thought about that when we started deck cadets and trainees as well. But you know, we can do that. So we are continuing. But I can also tell you students one thing. There are some disappointing stories which I hear from you students every now and then. Many of you have succumbed or continue to succumb to paying money and trying to get on ships. You know, I will not hide my words. Don't do it, because you are just supporting it get worse. We are no magicians. We are just people who are trying to help you out. And well, now I can say with some confidence, we are helping you out. But stop doing this. If you do this, if you continue to bribe people and then come to us and say that, you know, this guy took my money and ran away, all I can tell you is, well, you asked for it, right? I've had students, parents, grandparents. I've had grandparents who've called me from various parts of the country, thanking for the jobs. People who've sold their lands, people who've sold their jewelry. But at the same time, I've also had stories of students who are continuing to ask horrendous questions. And it's not acceptable. It's just not acceptable. GP ratings, I know you guys are having it really tough. The problem is that the intake, the numbers of your colleges are extremely high and the placements are extremely low. and I'm talking on an average here. There are a few colleges who've got a very fantastic placement rate, and hats off to them. But the ones who don't, be careful. And yeah, I think in this concept, since so many students have asked me about this question, and you continue to type here as well, we are doing our best. There are more opportunities coming. Shore jobs, I never thought. Yesterday, we just placed a few more with a very large shipping company in the commercial department, which was something new for us. But yeah, something like this, sir. I'm a GP candidate trying for 2 years. People are asking money anyway, sir. Well, these are the kind of questions which actually disappoint me, because if you feel that only money is going to be the way, then I'm so sorry to say, young man, young lady, you're probably going to face a tough time out there. So keep it intact. It is difficult. And by the way, one more thing, stop telling others to join the course if you're not getting a job. Please don't show them, unnecessary reels or, uniforms switching with a snap of a finger. I wish uniforms and epaulets came at a snap of a finger. They don't, they never did, they never will. It will require a lot of hard work from your side. So they don't happen like that. It's good for fun. It's good for fun, but it's not good. What is the best way to get a job for a TME vacancy? First, do your research. There are a lot of shipping companies who are actually putting up jobs, even in newspapers like Times of India. So first, do your research. Don't look for shortcuts, right? There are enough people who are also advertising. There are enough people who are keeping open exams, including us. So follow the right people. Stay connected. Do your research, and then you'll surely get it. But yeah, don't look for shortcuts. I get very disappointed, Chirag, and I'm sure so do you and many other people.
Absolutely. It really hurts us, because we've been day and night. We've been telling the same thing to the kids to don't get into it. But then somehow I think they get lost into it, and they lose their patience. And that's where I think we all need to make them again and again. And we are doing this all events every month. I'm bringing this particular topic in most of our chats with the Seafarers to try and understand that every one of the industry member is telling you, stop paying money to the agents, because there is a great danger that you will get yourself and your family in an extreme crisis if you get into that. Everybody is asking Captain Purnendu, when is the next Naughtica coming in?
Next Naughtica will be Naughtica 5.0, and it will be in 2024.
Wow, wonderful. We're looking forward to it.
Okay.
And with that, I think
it will be bigger, bolder. It will be Naughtica 5.0. It will be in 2024. Just one odd question which I have seen here, if you don't mind me taking it, Chirag, directly.
Please.
A couple of students want to know about shore jobs for marine engineers. Well, there are, and now I can say with a lot of confidence that there are, because we have placed a lot of people and we continue to. From technical assistants in ship management companies to design and engineering companies, some very big design and engineering companies have taken people from us. I will not name, but there is one student right now I see who's just been placed by us in Dubai. He's just joined us here. He said he'll put it up on his story. Thank you so much. And naval architecture, that's one more area where a lot of jobs are being given, even to marine engineers. Deck cadets as well are getting shore jobs. And remember, these are things for various reasons. Some people who can't sail anymore, some people due to a physical ailment, some people because they've got trapped, that they have got sea time, but now no other company would give them a job. Some whose colleges have, well, I don't know the word, just abandoned them, if you like. So there are various. So let's not compare everybody to each other. Everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own life. But essentially, yes, there are job openings. You should also not close the door to studying more. I know, sir, already we have spent so much money in studying this. Now, how can we spend there? Well, go and look at your students who are studying engineering, who are studying medical, who are studying for 10, 12, 13 years, even IT for that matter. They also further sharpen their skills and adapt to getting jobs. So yes, there are these jobs available. Vacancy for trainee ordinary seaman, GP rating. You again hurt me and touched me on my weakest nerve. This number of 7,000, 8,000, 6,000 seats and only 1,000 getting a job is highly annoying. But that's the way it is, and we are trying our best. We've also approached the highest offices in the government to see if we can, do something about it. But let's see. Keenan, you were looking forward to Naughtica and hope it was going to be held in October. Well, October is already here. Enjoy Diwali. Naughtica 5.0, you will have to wait for that. I think now the questions are becoming the usual ones. Please start placement, etc., etc. We will.
That will never end, and I think that's the hope that people have from you, the cadets have from you, Captain. So I wish you all the very best in your future endeavors. I think we are so proud of you that you have taken that initiative ahead, and the results are out there as well. So congratulations to you and your team as well on that, Captain Zab, and hopefully our cadets also support us in taking whatever initiatives we are taking for their betterment as well. So all the very best to all of you, those who have joined us today and been a part of this session. So thank you very much, everyone, for taking out your time and your lovely questions today. And I think it's one of a very good interactive sessions we had today. So thank you once again, Captain Purnendu Shorey, for joining us today. So
thank you so much.
Next for those the next topic.
This one kid has been asking again and again, review of Synergy Group, please. You don't need a review of Synergy Group. I normally don't name a shipping company, but since you insist on asking every now and then, you don't need a review of Synergy Group. You can read about it all over the world. They've done well for themselves and they continue to. So yeah, go ahead, read, meet them, and you'll find your answers. So thank you so much, everyone. And as I always sign off, thanks, Chirag. Thanks to ISWAN. I'm sure we'll catch up again.
Thank you.
Stay safe. Stay happy. Keep rocking. Bye.
Take care. All the best. Bye, guys. Take care. All the best to you guys. Safe, straight. Bye.
Bye.